On Tuesday's episode of The Young and the Restless, Audra made yet another attempt to reunite with Nate. What's going on? It's been months since she last pleaded for his forgiveness for making that unholy deal with Victor and then lying about it. Now she's trying again to work things out with Nate. The more she sees him with Victoria, the more we wonder, are we headed for a triangle? On Tuesday's episode of The Young and the Restless, Audra looked extremely uncomfortable and annoyed at Crimson Lights, knowing that Nate was having a great time talking to Victoria. The tension was so thick, we could have cut it with a butter knife. Audra definitely feels like the odd woman out. In a way, we feel sorry for her, even though the breakup with Nate was entirely her fault. We can see how it's eating her up inside to see him enjoy himself with Victoria, after the great relationship Audra herself had with him, and then stupidly ruined. All because of the deal she made with Victor to break you, Kyle and Claire. Audra knows she has no one to blame but herself. It feels strange and a little sad to see her in a position where she is powerless to get him back, considering that she is a woman who loves power. After Victoria left Crimson Lights to meet with Victor, it was a little odd that Audra made yet another attempt to reunite with Nate, considering it's been months since she last poured her heart out to him and he rejected her. Why is she still pursuing him? Does she genuinely miss him and want him back? Or does she just hate the thought of him moving on with someone else? Her jealousy was really showing. She even came right out and accused him of moving on Victoria without even asking him whether they were a couple. When he told her, "My relationship with Victoria is none of your damn business," we could tell he's fed up with Audra, especially considering that he threw the word damn in there. Because she wasn't honest when he asked her whether she'd made that deal with Victor, he doesn't feel like he can trust her anymore. However, Tuesday's episode wasn't the first time Audra ran into Nate and Victoria together. Is that the Y&R writer's way of telling us this trio is headed for a triangle? Is Nate not as done with Audra as he thinks he is? A couple of months ago, on The Young and the Restless, Audra ran into Nate and Victoria in the park. Audra learned that Noah was in a car crash. She was concerned because she was once in a relationship with Noah, so she tried to find out how serious his injuries were. Even then, we could see that she was jealous to see Nate talking to Victoria. Victoria and Nate looked uneasy because Audra had interrupted their conversation. So what's going on with these three? Is there a chance that Amy might reach out to Nate and make him realize there's a part of him that still wants Audra and wants to forgive her? Will he ultimately feel torn between reconnecting with Victoria and trying to repair his broken relationship with Audra? The writers seem to be putting Audra in a position where every time Nate and Victoria are talking, she comes along like a fly that they want to shoo away. But is there something more significant behind their uncomfortable chance meetings? He did admit that his breakup with Audra hasn't been easy on him. Is that a foreshadowing that things are not entirely over between them? And is his friendship with Victoria simply a friendship, or is it leading to something more? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra may face total disaster if Jack Abbott's shutdown backfires on his brother. At the moment, Jack doesn't see any other solution except to take Jabot offline temporarily. It's the only way for Jack to protect the family business and keep Victor Newman from getting the AI program inside their system. Jack knows it's risky to force a shutdown for 3 months or more. But what else can he do? There are concerns about Jabot never recovering from Jack's tactic, but it's better than letting Victor make his move and unleashing chaos. Once Jack's offline strategy is in full effect, he may feel good about where things stand. Jack may think he's outsmarted Victor and bought himself some time to truly fight back, but there could be a big problem. Victor knows how to be patient and play the long game, but also isn't one to just sit back and let the Abbotts live in peace. Y&R fans know Victor has already been dropping hints about pulling the rug out from under Billy at the upcoming Abbott Communications launch party. Although Victor's plan to get Jill Abbott to pull the funding fell through, there are other paths to causing chaos. Adam Newman might find one of them and create quite a stir at this launch bash. Then again, maybe the launch party will go off without a hitch and leave Billy on cloud 9 along with Sally. Just when it looks like Sally and Billy's business is off to a great start, Victor could hit them where it hurts. Perhaps Victor will respond to Jack's offline move at Jabot by unleashing the AI program on Abbott Communications. Victor might make sure the company never has a chance to even get off the ground. Maybe Victor could find other ways to target the people Jack cares about as well. It could be Jack's punishment for thinking he could truly gain the upper hand on Victor. Will Billy and Sally pay the price for Jack's bold move? Will Abbott Communications get obliterated after Victor uses the AI program against it? The Young and the Restless, spoilers say Victor may have some vengeful news in store, so we'll pass along updates on any other mayhem for the Abbotts. Despite the obscure setting of Genoa City, Wisconsin, The Young and the Restless places great emphasis on corporate drama. The town is heralded as the location where the best and brightest in business try to make a name for themselves. Some do quite well, and others fall flat on their faces. However, whether or not those mistakes are of their own volition is another story. It's a cutthroat world, and there's always someone lurking and waiting to strike and destroy someone's corporate empire. Over the last year, the focus on business and corporate takeovers has increased immensely, dominating most episodes. The usual players, such as Victor and Jack, are still at it, but there are new faces involved that raise the stakes even further. Some are thriving lately, finding new ways to decimate the competition. For others, however, they are given daily reminders that a slight lack of focus or one misplaced deal could derail everything they've ever worked for. It should come as no surprise that the company steered by the great Victor Newman would be at the top of the list. Nobody in Genoa City displays as much business prowess as Victor. Despite being despised by most other companies in town, Victor remains unfazed, singularly focused on growing his corporation into an even larger version of itself. There's nothing or nobody that comes even remotely close to achieving what he has. Victor currently holds all of the power in Genoa City. Thanks to Phyllis, Victor secured access to Kane's coveted AI program, and he used the software to launch a full-scale attack on its creator. It won't be long until he turns his attention to his sworn enemy, Jack Abbott, and uses the program to deliver Jabot Cosmetics a fatal blow. He allegedly plans to hand the reins to Phyllis once he's done with them, but for now, Victor seems virtually unstoppable. Technically, Newman Media is a division of Newman Enterprises, but it deserves its own accolades. Adam and Chelsea have turned the company into a media juggernaut, and they've successfully used the program to destroy the reputations of various enemies of Victor's. They have published hit pieces on both Billy and Kane, and the impact it had on their careers and public perception cannot be understated. Although Billy has somewhat recovered from the fallout, Kane has yet to find his footing since they blindsided him with allegations against him and his late father. Although Newman Media has been portrayed mostly as a vehicle for Victor's bidding, Adam and Chelsea have proven to do quite well with the company. This was a significant test for the newly reunited couple, but they've more than showcased their ability to hang with the best of the best. While the T remain in a boom period for now, they'll have to expand their reach beyond attacking their enemies in the press in order to sustain any degree of success. Although Sharon is missing in action from Genoa City to tend to her son Noah's ongoing crisis, her coffee shop remains successful. Esther deserves a great deal of the credit for the ongoing success of Crimson Lights. Without her, it wouldn't be the most prominent spot in town for former lovers to get coffee or get into altercations with their exes as new flings. This is a staple of GC, and there are no signs of that changing in the near or distant future. Winters isn't doing anything special, but it's also not on the verge of collapse like some of the other businesses is on the other portion of the list. Due to Kane's former relationship with Lily, Winters has been mostly spared from the ongoing drama between him and the rest of the town. Nobody is trying to make a hostile takeover of her family's company, and for the most part, she's not living day-to-day on pins and needles. The only downside is the lack of time viewers get to spend with the Winters family in their corporate element. They were often featured when they were merged with Chancellor, but since that was dissolved, there isn't much to say. However, as the saying goes, no news is good news, and if they aren't being displayed as a crumbling disaster, they are likely doing just fine. Jack is rattled by the looming threat of Victor and the AI program, and sadly, his family's company, Jabot, could suffer irreparable damage as a result. Jack's latest plan is to cease company operations giving them ample time to develop a defense strategy against Victor. As his wife, Diane, pointed out, there's a chance Jabot won't be able to recover from this decision. However, if they wait around and do nothing, Victor will make the company collapse regardless. So this is the lesser of two evils. Jack looks entirely powerless against his longtime rival, and it's leaving Jabot on shaky ground. He's risking the livelihoods of so many employees and the legacy of his family to keep Victor at bay. While that's an admirable thing to do, he might regret his plan of action if it blows up in his face. Sticking it to Victor seems great on paper, but living in fear has Jack potentially putting Jabot on the chopping block without the mustache even lifting a finger. Abbott Communications hasn't even launched yet, and it's an entire mess. From multiple stop-starts, CEO chair changes, and 2 sets of investors, it's as if the date is telling Billy and Sally to abort the mission. Everything that could have gone wrong since the company's inception has, and there are still numerous wildcards to contend with. Jill remains anonymous for now, but there's always the possibility that she will wish to become more involved to protect her son from his biggest impulses. Sally was determined to give Audra a spot at the company, but with Jill vehemently against the idea, she was forced to cut her friend out of the business. The excited couple has no idea that Victor and Adam are actively plotting their demise as well, previously trying to remove the funding on the eve of their launch party. A company that hasn't technically launched yet shouldn't be plagued by so many issues. Billy and Sally have the largest uphill battle ahead of them to achieve any semblance of success. Does Sharon know that this company still exists? Does this company still exist? Who is running the show with Sharon stuck in Los Angeles and Mariah deeply entrenched in treatment at a Boston clinic? There are so many unanswered questions about this company, but it's safe to say it's probably not thriving. It's not even remotely in contention for any of the major conversations in town, and it feels unlikely to be successful enough for anyone to target it. Sharon's priorities are all over the place, but even if she wasn't running away from demons from her past, Mariah was still missing in action. The treatment has her more and more cut off from the outside world, and she hasn't been much of a factor lately. Hopefully, once things settle, the two will be back at the helm and truly turning Cassidy into a top-tier Genoa City company. When Kane first returned to the show, it seemed like he truly had it all. He was suddenly wealthier than anyone's wildest dreams, largely due to the substantial success of Arabesque. The company was his bread and butter, but with one click of a button, Victor unleashed fury on it, using the AI program to gut it from the inside out. Kane's professional empire is in ruins, and it's all because Phyllis sold him out and made a deal with the devil. Kane has expressed that losing the company like this was an eye-opening experience, and he doesn't regret how things played out. However, there's no denying that Olympus has fallen. Everything Kane worked so hard to achieve, to make a name for himself, has been reduced to ashes. There's nothing left for him, leaving his company by far the worst in shape. The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, December 4th, reveals that a car chase will follow Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall's, failed arrest, while Victor Newman uses the AI program on the nightclub. In Los Angeles on Thursday's Y&R episode, Victor will talk to Nick Newman and Sharon Newman about the Shadow Room doing quite well financially. To gain the upper hand on Matt, Victor will call his people and arrange for them to infiltrate the club's system. This will allow Victor to wipe out Matt's assets and point the cops to any money laundering schemes too. The hope will be that Matt's greed is stronger than his need for payback on Sharon and Nick, but Sharon will remain concerned about Noah Newman. That said, both Sharon and Nick will feel that Noah's still alive. Once the AI is in place and ready to go, Victor will score a screenshot with the execute prompt to convince Matt to give up Noah's location. Meanwhile, Matt will lash out at Noah and Sienna Bacall after stopping their escape attempt. Sienna and Noah will try working different angles with Matt to get their freedom, but he'll insist on getting revenge. Matt will eventually drop a tiny bag of fentanyl on the floor and warn Noah to take a hit. Noah will refuse, but Matt will make it clear that he's either going to do drugs or Sienna's going to get killed. Detective Burrow will point his gun at Sienna, so Noah will pick up the bag and start to go along with Matt's demand. However, Burrow will suddenly place Matt under arrest, which will result in Matt's smirk. When Detective Annie Stewart arrives, Burrow will assume she's going to help him take Matt into custody. Instead, it'll be revealed that Annie is the truly dirty cop. Detective Stewart will pull her gun on Burrow next, but Noah will dive for it and run with Sienna once chaos erupts. While Burrow and Matt are caught in a struggle, Sienna will head to the shadow room with Noah to pack a bag that includes stacks of cash. Noah and Sienna will end up speeding off in a vehicle, so Sienna will suggest they can head to a location in the desert that Matt doesn't know about. However, Matt won't be far behind and will chase after them in his own car. Back with Victor, he'll get Matt on the phone and warn him about that financial ruin that could await. Matt won't strike a deal despite Victor's threats and a text of the AI prompt screenshot. After Noah uses the phone in Sienna's glove compartment to call his dad, Nick will get updates on their escape and car chase situation. Once Nick urges Noah to get to a public place with lots of people around, Noah will urge Sienna to pull over in a park. Sienna will indeed pull the car over while Victor calls Matt back. Victor will point out that things have turned in their favor and that they don't need Matt anymore. Once Victor tells Matt to kiss his assets goodbye, he'll unleash the AI program. Matt will get a bunch of phone notifications and end up fuming over Victor moving forward with his plan. A livid Matt will declare this isn't over as he speeds right past where Sienna and Noah have parked. The young and the restless spoilers say Noah and Sienna will embrace in relief once Matt drives off, but there's more troubling news to come. The young and the restless spoilers hint that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, may kidnap Nikki Newman for revenge on Victor Newman. Will Matt decide to make Victor pay by putting his wife in grave danger? In the December 4th episode, Victor released the AI program in the Shadow Room's system and went after all Matt's assets. It was originally a plan to make Matt give up Noah Newman's location. But Victor unleashed the program anyway when he realized Noah had scored his freedom. As Matt sped off into the night, he angrily declared this wasn't over. That lines up with Y&R spoilers, which indicate Matt will ultimately make his way to Genoa City and cause total chaos for the Newman family. Of course, Matt will want to get back at Noah, Nick Newman, and Sharon Newman, but Victor won't escape Matt's wrath either. In fact, Victor might have just put himself at the top of the revenge list by causing Matt's financial ruin. Matt may disappear for a bit and resurface in GC ready for a fierce fight. It may not be long until Matt takes action against Victor and the whole Newman clan now that his life as Mitch has blown up. Victor will have to face consequences for that AI program move, so how will Matt make him suffer? Since Victor loves Nikki more than just about anything in the world, Matt may think targeting her will be a great start. Matt has also proven that kidnapping is one of his favorite revenge tactics, so Nikki may get snatched next. Perhaps Matt will hold Nikki hostage and demand Victor's entire fortune in exchange for her, or something along those lines. Whatever the case, Nikki could land in a dangerous situation once Matt returns to town, so stick with us for updates on all the horrifying news to come. The young and the restless spoilers say Matt will prove he's a force to be reckoned with, but Victor is even more powerful and may turn the tables all over again. The young and the restless spoilers for Friday, December 5th reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott and Kyle Abbott will hunt for dirt while Jack Abbott spills a secret. Claire Newman will also blast Audra Charles, so some great stuff's coming up in Friday's exciting Y&R episode. First, let's talk about Audra since she'll get under Claire's skin. Claire and Audra have another tense encounter on the way, so fans can expect Claire to lose her temper. While Claire's putting Audra on full blast and tossing more threats around, Jack will meet up with Nikki Newman and prove he trusts her. Since Jack will divulge a secret, Nikki may hear about his idea to go offline and try to prevent Victor Newman from unleashing the AI program on Jabot. Other young and the restless spoilers say Diane and Kyle will team up on a dirt-digging operation. It sounds like Kyle will pitch in on Diane's plan to find evidence of Victor's illegal AI activities and plot his downfall. Diane is hoping that by the time they're through with Victor, he'll be arrested and face justice in the courtroom. Of course, Diane also wants to spread the news publicly about Victor's scandalous moves and make him a villain in the press. Victor is a lot of things, but sloppy isn't one of them. It's tough to believe Victor will just leave incriminating proof lying around for Kyle and Diane to uncover. If Diane and Kyle do hit some sort of dirty Victor jackpot, it could be part of a trap. You can never be too careful when it comes to Victor and any tricks he might use against his enemies. Regardless, Victor always manages to come out on top in the end, so Kyle and Diane shouldn't get too comfortable without any advantages they think they're pulling off. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor may make some updates to his own Abbott schemes along the way, so stay tuned. Claire hooked up with Holden on Halloween and kissed Kyle at Thanksgiving. Claire might have an important decision to make by Christmas. She and Holden shared a steamy night of passion on Halloween. By Thanksgiving, she was locking lips with Kyle. Who will she choose on The Young and the Restless? Claire took Holden up on his offer to visit LA. Holden took on the role as her tour guide, as he showed her the sights and sounds of the city. Most of their moments took place at the Shadow Room, where the sparks flew between them. On Halloween night, Claire felt like a whole new woman. Although the drinks were flowing, she wanted to remain cognizant for the next move she was about to make. Claire kissed Holden on the dance floor. The two took things back to her hotel room. She wanted to share a night of passion with Holden. However, her demeanor has changed since returning to Genoa City. She told Holden they weren't going to sleep together again, even though she had fun. Kyle invited Claire over for Thanksgiving dinner. He wanted her to stop by and say hi to Harrison and his family. At first, Claire hesitated, but she took Kyle on his offer. She assured Victoria that it didn't mean they were getting back together. She didn't want anyone to think that, even her grandmother Nikki, who was curious about what this meant. Claire must have got swept up in the holiday spirit. When Kyle walked her out the door, she kissed him. He had a goofy grin on his face as she walked away. Claire can't blame the alcohol this time for her swift decision. Claire hooked up with Holden on Halloween. Then, she kissed Kyle on Thanksgiving. She's celebrating the holidays by exploring her singlehood. Y&R fans think Claire is playing Holden. So, who is Claire going to choose by Christmas? Will she have another exciting time with Holden? Or will she feel enchanted by the magic of the holidays and go back with Kyle? As we know, things change quickly in Genoa City. Claire might get back with Kyle by Christmas, only to hook up with Holden again on New Year's Eve. Claire is still discovering who she is, which means she could become impulsive and messy. Fans of The Young and the Restless think Mitch Bacall could have an evil twin he's not aware of. Mitch Bacall turned out to be Matt Clark, whom Sharon and Nick recognized. However, Matt is acting like he has no idea what anyone is talking about. Fans of The Young and the Restless have a feeling that Matt has a twin. On the Wednesday, December 3rd episode of Y&R, Victor arrived in Los Angeles to come face-to-face with the Matt Clark. He exclaimed, "Well, I'll be damned, Matt Clark!" Matt acted like he didn't know who Victor was talking about. Victor said he'd be better off dead. Then he asked for an Anillo tequila before their conversation started. Matt wanted to know who Victor was. He also threatened to refuse service to any patron, including one who hassles him. Victor informed Matt that he was Victor Newman and inquired about his grandson, Noah. During their conversation, Matt insisted that he's Mitch Bacall, not Matt Clark. So, who is this man, really? He appears to be involved in some shady activities, such as drug trafficking. Mitch even kept Noah and Sienna locked away in a warehouse. For weeks, a fan theory has been blowing up social media. Some have wondered if Mitch has an evil twin. This idea was previously discussed on X, formerly Twitter. One fan wrote, "My first impression was that Mitch is not Matt Clark. He really didn't seem to know who Sharon was, and randomly running Noah off the road after 20 years wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, hoping it's a flip in the script, and it's a good twin story rather than the evil twin." Someone else asked, "Oh gosh, is Matt Clark a twin? These writers can do anything." Another Y&R fan took this mystery into their own hands. They created a poll on the social media platform @saying, "Okay, do you think Mitch is really Matt Clark? Or do you think Mitch is Matt's long-lost, unaware twin?" At the time of this writing, 60% of fans think Mitch is Matt Clark. Meanwhile, only less than 40% believe that Mitch is Matt's twin. Mitch doesn't seem to know who Matt is, which could suggest that he has a twin brother he's unaware of. The Phyllis and Lily feud has fans divided. Phyllis, Kane, and Lily have become the Young and the Restless new love triangle. Not only are Phyllis and Lily fighting, but so are Fane and Lane fans. Kane and Lily, aka Lane, are one of Y&R's super couples. When Kane returned, many fans thought this would be the beginning of a reunion. However, Lily refused to give Kane a second chance, despite his multiple attempts to win her back. With Lily rejecting him, Kane's moving on with Phyllis. Kane and Phyllis's new romance has sparked Lily's jealousy, and she can't resist butting into Fane's business. Lily's interference has ignited Phyllis's anger, and now it's game on for the battle for Kane's heart. The Phyllis and Lily rivalry has sparked a fan war on who Kane should be with. On a soap opera form, many were in favor of a Fane romance. Fane and their shenanigans are fun to watch, declared one supporter. They have so much fun, and the buzz around them has been wild, another fan wrote. However, some fans are still holding out hope for a Lane reunion. I see actual feelings between these two, a history, 2 kids, etc. It will be a while, though, until I see if they do indeed get back together, wrote one Lane supporter. The way Lily looks at Kane, she still loves him, said another. There's no denying that Kane's heart will always belong to Lily. The two were once married, have children together, and were put through many heartbreaking ordeals. Yet, Kane's scheme as Aristotle Dumas sealed Lily's decision that she doesn't want anything to do with him. Or does she? Seeing Kane with Phyllis has Lily questioning her feelings for her ex-husband. Kane has tried to make progress to redeem himself, yet being with Phyllis might set him back. To help Kane, Lily may agree to give him another chance, and, in the process, begin the long-awaited Lane reunion. However, Kane can't keep doing the back-and-forth routine with Lily. As much as he loves her and wants to be with her, he'll wonder if he can make her truly happy. With Lily continuing to give him the cold shoulder, it's going to push him further into Phyllis's arms. Will Nikki hurt or help? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, December 3rd, circle the wagons and prepare to defend Jabot from the victor. But is Jack putting his faith in the wrong person? Jack's plan to save Jabot, as he explained to his family over Thanksgiving, is to shut down the company electronically. After all, if their computers aren't on, Kane's super-secret AI computer program can't worm its way in, can it? Billy and Ashley pointed out that the cure could be worse than the disease, and they might lose everything. Jack claimed it was the only option. Jack's pretty proud of himself, to the point where he tells Nikki all about it. Did he forget that she does anything Victor tells her to? Or is that what he's counting on? While Jack spills the beans to his ex-wife, his current wife teams up with their son to find dirt on Victor. Is that hard? Everything Victor does is bad, and he loves to boast about it. The only incriminating thing we can think that Diane and Kyle could find is how Victor held Jordan prisoner. But with her dead, who's going to back up their story? Cole is dead too, and Michael has been taught his lesson about helping Victor. Audra annoys Claire, Claire annoys Audra, so they snipe at each other periodically. Claire is a child. Audra is a grown woman. You'd think Claire could never take Audra on, but Claire is rich, and she has Victor in her corner, so she knows she will always win, just like him. That's what gives her the gumption to keep poking at Audra. Jabot wants to shut down Jabot for 3 months to protect the company from Kane's AI program. On The Young and the Restless, December 1st, Jack revealed his plans to save Jabot, and we can't stop thinking about it. He wants to shut down the business for 3 months. At Thanksgiving, Jack felt that problems were looming at Jabot. He revealed that Victor stole Kane's AI program. He could use it against Jabot. To protect themselves, Jack advised his family they shut down the business for 3 months. He feared that Victor could use this opportunity to mess with their business. Ashley wanted to know how it would work. Jack explained that this AI tool is so powerful that it could bleed any company dry. Their tech team has been handling this matter, but they can't take any risks. Jack has a feeling that it could affect all of their companies, including the Abbott Communications launch. Ultimately, Jack felt there was no way for them to protect Jabot while it's up and running. The only way to stop the AI program is to go offline. Jack feels that business can continue while they're offline. However, this could be a huge financial risk. Jabot could end up losing more than it's worth. Kyle actually made a good point. He thinks there could be even more issues if their digital storefront goes dark. Jack is aware that 3 months is a risk, but they would end up more protected in the end. Victor would be taken aback by this move. It's better to pull one over him. Tracy asked Jask what their father would do in this matter. She wasn't sure if shutting down business was the answer. What if Jabot never recovers from this huge financial loss? What would happen to all the orders that customers have placed by this point? Would they stay? Would it get backed up with business while they're down? They need to maintain a steady flow of everything, including shipments during this time. The shutdown could pose a huge disaster for Jabot. Jack shouldn't take this decision lightly. Thankfully, he asked his family to vote on it with him. However, he could still go his own way and shut down the business anyway. If you shut down business for 3 months, you can face legal and financial risks. There's also the issue of prioritizing taxes, employees, and debts before any equity holders are involved. The last thing that Jabot needs is to end up in financial ruin. Victor's AI strike forces Matt Clark into his most unstable spiral yet, and Noah turns the tables at the exact right moment. In the December 4th episode of The Young and the Restless, Victor changed the shape of the war by deploying Kane's stolen AI against Matt Clark. The move wasn't just retaliation, it was a calculated digital strike designed to destabilize Matt's entire operation and force a break in his control over Noah and Sienna. That pressure finally hit its breaking point, exposing fractures Matt could no longer hide. Victor laid out the plan to Nick and Sharon with icy precision. Kane's AI, the same weapon that helped destroy Arabesque, was now in his hands, and Matt was about to feel it. Once Victor's tech team confirmed they were inside the Shadow Room's systems, he prepared to wipe out Matt's assets with a single command. The move wasn't symbolic, it was leverage, and Victor intended to use it to force Matt to release Noah's. The pressure hit exactly where Victor intended. In a filthy storage room, Matt's grip on reality cracked wide open. His rage toward Noah and Sienna surged into a full-blown standoff, complete with forced drugs, violent threats, and the reveal of a corrupt detective on his payroll. The more Matt tried to assert control, the more transparent his panic became. Noah recognized it instantly, fighting back the moment an opening appeared and knocking the situation off its axis. That chaos finally broke Matt's setup. Noah and Sienna escaped the room, sprinted through the Shadow Room, grabbed evidence and cash, and fled in Sienna's car with Matt screaming behind them. The instant he realized they were gone, and saw Victor's AI notification on his phone, his control spiraled into raw fury. Victor's decision marks a turning point in this feud. For years, his battles have been fought with influence, intimidation, and strategic force. But Kane's AI gives him something new: the ability to eradicate an enemy's infrastructure in seconds. Using that weapon against Matt, a man already unraveling emotionally, places Victor at the center of a fight that is no longer physical or psychological, but technological. Matt's reaction exposed something Victor needed to confirm. The villain who hides behind aliases and false identities is not a mastermind in control, but a man collapsing under the weight of his own obsession. The forced drug ultimatum, the volatile swings, the reliance on corrupt officers, it all revealed a core truth. Matt isn't playing a long game anymore. He's reacting, lashing out, improvising. And nothing is more dangerous to him than being pushed into a corner. Noah and Sienna. Breaking free wasn't just an escape. It was the first proof that Matt's advantage had finally cracked. Matt's rage when he received Victor's screenshot, the one showing the AI already inside his systems, signaled a shift he cannot undo. His threats grew louder, but his power diminished. For the first time, Noah and Sienna weren't trapped by Matt's control. Matt was trapped by Victor's. Noah's frantic call to Nick aligned the Newmans with new urgency, while Victor doubled down and ordered his team to unleash the full AI attack. Matt was forced to abandon the chase as the consequences hit him simultaneously, losing Sienna, losing Noah, and losing his financial empire. The war has officially entered a phase Matt never expected, one where Victor dictates the pace, the stakes, and the outcome. And Matt Clark, the man who built his entire identity on control, finally showed the first unmistakable signs of fear. Young and the Restless has Victor Newman engaged in criminal acts using the stolen AI program. And now some of his targets want to take him down. They want to have him prosecuted for these cybercrimes. And you know what? It might actually work. We're going to talk about how using the AI program that Phyllis Summers stole and gave to him could see Victor headed to prison. This week, we've got Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins trying to figure out how to protect Jabot from Victor attacking them with the AI. At the same time that's going on, Phyllis has been cornered. And there is a dangling chance at a future if Phyllis will come clean about stealing it. So, Jack's planning to shut down the Jabot computer servers until they can protect themselves from the AI threat. But Diane and the other Abbotts are worrying. This could wreck Jabot for good. But if Victor launches the AI against them, that would also wreck Jabot. So either scenario is high risk. Diane tells Jack, "You know what? You focus on a plan of defense. How to protect Jabot, work with the tech team, do all that." Meanwhile, Diane is going to go look for proof. She has to prove that Victor is engaged in cyber crimes by using this illegal AI program to hack into their company. Now, he's not done it yet. But Jack and Diane have to do something, and they have to do it fast. They want to know that they did everything in their power to save John Abbott's legacy from Victor. Right now, Diane is very intent on seeing Victor held criminally liable, and it looks like Kyle Abbott is going to try and help her get that proof. And we all know he wants payback on Victor, on Young and the Restless. So, later we had Diane and Jack running into Victor. And then Diane asks Victor, "Do you realize what you're doing is illegal and you could go to jail?" And of course, he just laughs right in Diane's face. And Victor says, "The accusations are baseless." But Diane is on a mission to prove it, because it is 100% illegal. She is pursuing this legal criminal route, looking for evidence. And I do suspect it may not be long before Victor's other enemies get on board with Diane and Jack. And Victor might really be facing some jail time soon. So, Jack and Diane have their plans mapped out. Jack's going to protect Jabot. Diane hunts down proof to bring Victor to justice. I'm wondering if others may want in on Diane's legal plan, and they offer to help. Obviously, Billy Abbott hates Victor, and he knows that the guy's coming for AbbottCom. We know that Phyllis hates Victor for the Marco Anicelli thing, and a lot of ugliness over the years. Plus, there is hate for him for about to destroy Arabesque, and he won't let up even after a surrender. All the other Abbotts hate the guy. And let's be real, Victor is doing something blatantly illegal. So we could see that Diane, Jack, and others may team up, and they all work together towards the common goal of stopping Victor and making him pay for what he's done. While Diane and Jack are working against Victor, we think that there is probably a plan of its own in motion. So this week, there is an attempt to get Phyllis to admit she stole the AI software and gave it to Victor in exchange for Jabot. And a very good argument is being made to start a new venture with Phyllis and build something with her personally and professionally. But it is said if Phyllis wants to be with him and build this future together, they have to start from a point of honesty. So it is said that Phyllis won't be punished for stealing the AI if she just admits it. At first, she's trying to keep lying, but when push comes to shove and Phyllis sees that she's about to lose her shot, it looks like Phyllis is finally going to come clean. The thing is, even if she confesses, there's a question of whether or not charges can be pressed on Phyllis for stealing the illegal program. We'll see. Maybe Phyllis is being recorded to get her confession, and then with proof, the police or the FBI could be contacted, set up some kind of immunity deals. And that way, they can work with law enforcement to bust Victor in the act. The AI was never used, so prosecution should be avoided. It could be said that the AI was developed, and then once it was realized what it could do, it was decided not to do it. Phyllis is the first chain in the criminal actions because she stole the program. But she might be able to get immunity if she testifies that after she stole the dodgy AI program, she gave it to Victor, and she knows he launched it against Arabesque, and that he's planning on launching it against Jabot and AbbottCom. Phyllis knows this from Victor. She could even wear a wire and record him saying stuff, They could go to the Genoa City Police. They've probably got a cyber unit or the FBI cyber division, or the National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force is a big thing. So law enforcement could actually be allowed into the Arabesque servers, and they might be able to trace the AI back to Victor, or they could even plant some sort of defensive program into the Abbotcom or the Jabot servers. So when Victor launches his next AI attack, the feds could trace it back and nail him. That would be concrete proof, and it would be hard for Michael Baldwin to dig Victor out of that mess. Here's what I see on Soap's social media and what I read here in the comments. People are sick and tired of writer Josh Griffith always letting Victor win. He gets away with everything. He's been running amok for way too long. Plus, Victor's whole vendetta against Jack, when all he did was save Nikki Newman's life, is honestly absolutely disgusting. Victor should have thanked Jack for risking his own life and his own sobriety to save Nikki, not be punishing him for it. And Nikki keeps enabling Victor and excusing his antics. Nikki knows that Victor's breaking the law using that AI. And so does Adam Newman and anybody else in the family who knows that Victor is wielding this weapon. But they just keep cheering Victor on by saying that he deserves it. I mean, if he deserves it, then so does Victor. Maybe, just maybe, between Jack and Diane and Phyllis, if they all work together and, put their differences aside, they can conspire and get the proof they need on Victor and not only thwart him, but they can save all of their companies and they can see the mustache knock down a few pegs. It would be refreshing if Josh Griffith actually wrote a plot where Victor didn't do these awful things and still get to win in the end. He does need to be brought to justice. He does need some sort of accountability, and he needs to be taken down a notch. But we'll see if it plays out that way, or if Josh Griffith is doing more lazy writing and Victor gets away with all of it. The Young and the Restless treated viewers to a showdown between Victor Newman and Matt Clark at the Shadow Room. The 10 men had tussled before back in Genoa City, but a different actor played Matt back then. His current portrayer is talking about what it was like to go up against Eric Braeden, who plays Victor. Longtime viewers of Howarth recall just how formidable an actor he is. The performer took the short-term role of Todd Manning on One Life to Live and turned him into one of Longview's most enduring villains. This said, Howarth recently told Soap Opera Digest that he had a case of the jitters when he found out that Matt, or Mitch as he maintains, would be going up against Victor in a scene. "I was nervous to meet him," Howarth shared. "I was genuinely nervous. He's such an imposing, impressive human being." Howarth soon realized that his nerves were for naught because Braeden was very welcoming to him. He found working with the legend to be an absolute pleasure. In fact, Howarth says that he had fun going up against the Y&R veteran in their scenes together. The two actors found common ground in their mutual love of soccer. Braeden played the game in the 1970s, scoring the winning goal at the 1973 National Challenge Cup when he was a fullback for the Maccabi Los Angeles Soccer Club. Howarth calls Braeden soccer royalty. Their mutual interest in the sport gave the two a common interest. The game that Matt and Victor are playing for now appears to be a draw. Victor didn't get Matt to admit that he was Matt. He also didn't get him to reveal Noah's whereabouts. In fact, Matt made it sound like his wife, Sienna, was the bad guy in all this, and that she could very well be turning Victor's grandson onto drugs. If Victor believed any of what Matt was saying, he didn't let on. His meeting with Nick and Sharon indicated that Victor is more determined than ever to make sure Matt Clark doesn't get away with hurting his family.